Starting over again really sucks, especially when it's not the first time. Doubly, especially when it's not the first time in the past 5 years. You might be wondering what I'm talking about. Let me back up. So I worked in product management for 10 years. Then I moved into the DEI space because I was tired of being in rooms where there wasn't a single person that looked like me. And I figured the best way to fix that was to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. So I joined my company's DEI team. We did some really great work, and then we got downsized. A much larger company bought us, and they already had their own DEI team, so they didn't really have a lot of need for ours. Now, what I probably should have done was gone back into product management and figured out how to be helpful from there. But I didn't. I decided it'd be as good of any time to try to hang out my own shingle and try solo consulting. So my last day with the company was in March of 2020. You already know what happened next. COVID. Everyone was freaking out. Everyone was suddenly working from home. Unfortunately, I'd already been home for a couple of years, so I was set up and good to go. I started sending out leads and looking for clients. Then May of 2020 happened and George Floyd was murdered. Personally, it devastated me. Being someone from multiple marginalized communities, trying to hold my own grief while the entire world wanted to talk about it, that was one of the hardest seasons of my life. But on the business front, it changed everything. This was the era of black squares and safety pins and proving you were one of the good ones. Workshops and coaching with a queer Black woman were absolutely on the table. I had a lot of business and I had a lot of really, really great clients. I had them all the way until 2023, 2024, when contracts started drying up. Another sea change in the administration, and now folks are scared to say DEI out loud at all. Everything dried up within months, and I probably should have been backfilling clients and probably should have been better about that. But when the work was good and the clients were great, you just don't really think about it. So by 2024, it was gone and I was burnt out and ready not to talk about or think about DEI at all anymore. So I went back into product management, but this time as a federal contractor. I'd seen what the US Digital Service had been doing and what so many smaller, really great agencies had been doing. And it was exciting to see folks really work to digitize and transform government. And I was excited about that work. I moved into product operations and it was fantastic. And you'd think that government work was steady, right? You don't get laid off in government. You can just be there a while and rebuild. I was even excited about making government more like a business. Then September 25 hit and we got doged. Yeah, doged. Doge finally shut down a couple weeks ago, so yay for that, I guess. But in the meantime, it left a lot of destruction in its wake. Contractors were let go, workers were laid off, rehired, laid off again, and so much damage has been done that I honestly don't think that we will be able to recover for decades. We were just starting to get some momentum, just starting to do some really interesting things, and boom, done. So here I am again, all the way back to the basics and trying to figure out what I'm actually good at. And that's teaching and coaching and helping people get from point A to point B. So that's what the rebuild of this is. Now, for anything like me, here's where the hairs on the back of your neck stand up and you're like, crap, this is where somebody tries to sell me something. I'm not trying to sell you anything. If you want to work with me someday, sure, I'll show you where later. That's not what this is. This is rebuilding in public and showing my work. But here's the approach. After spending more time than I would like to admit, feeling sad, depressed, and put away, I'm reapproaching this the way I would like any build, like a pen. So I'm not treating myself like a product that just lost its biggest customer. How do we do it? Step one, discovery and framing. What do I already know? What problem I'm actually trying to solve? Who am I solving this for? How do I want to solve this? I'm not focusing on titles. Hell, at this point, I don't particularly care about a title. I care about the capability. What can I do? What can I offer? How can I help? How can I stage the house before I try to sell it? What does it look like? After you figure out discovery and framing, it's time to start getting into implementation. And here's where we get agile, lean, if you will. We get to build, test, and learn. I had that drilled into my head for a decade as a PM, and now I get to eat my own dog food, so to speak. But this is the point where you don't eat the elephant in one bite, you don't boil the ocean, you don't insert corporate metaphor of your choice here. You just keep trying things until something works. Then when you find that thing that works, you keep trying more of it until it stops working. Get comfortable hearing no, because you're going to hear it a lot. Get comfortable with failing. Get comfortable with taking 4 steps back to take 2 steps forward. Step 3, and perhaps where I'm the most truly uncomfortable, feel the feelings. When we got doged in September 2025, probably could have and should have started this work then. Instead, it took me almost a year, a couple of fits and starts, nothing that stuck. Why? Because I was depressed. Because it felt like nothing I did mattered. Who cared if I tried? Felt kind of useless. And that's something really hard to climb out of, especially when you've been doing this work for almost 2 decades. Product for 10, digital work for almost 2 decades. When you've had the chance to do a lot of very cool things with a lot of very cool people, and then watch folks that you hired, folks you developed, folks you managed, leapfrog levels over where you are right now, and you're sitting here with nothing in your own hands, looking around and going, where exactly did I go wrong? Where did I screw up? And that's a really hard thing to absorb, to even let yourself feel. But I'm going to let myself feel those feelings repeatedly. And I'm going to remind myself of a fact. I built a successful business. That's something a lot of people never get to say. And if I did it before, I could sure as heck do it again. So here comes the messy middle, where we get to do it all over again. Yeah, but that's where I am. One last thing, because it's definitely going to give shape and color to how we're doing this. There's a lot of vibes over substance out there. A lot of people selling coaching and training and workshops and things, and they don't have a hint of a whisper of how to actually do this work. And with a lot of AI that's out there now, a lot of folks using AI to create authority where there isn't any, and authenticity where there isn't any, it becomes really difficult to figure out who's real and who's full of it. Now, let me make something clear. I'm not against AI. I'm not against it at all. I use AI frequently. I use AI tools frequently, to be clear here. But I use it as a brainstorming partner in a way of clarifying and shaping my ideas. But the knowledge has to come from you. You can't hold court on something that you just don't really know much about. So I'm happy to go back and relearn and reconfirm that I know the good fundamentals and the good bones. And also, I'm excited about going back old school and rereading books about the topics, watching old videos, reaffirming what I know I know. And that's my bet. I don't work on vibes. One thing I don't do, I work on knowledge. And so that means I'm not the flashiest show pony in the room. much more of a workhorse, if you will. But I'm okay with that because I'm also starting to see a little nugget of a trend, and that's the flip against AI, where folks are craving knowledge and authenticity. And if that's what you're looking for, hi, here I am. So, what is this channel going to be? We're going to talk about product. We're going to talk about operations. We're going to talk about coaching. We're going to talk about how I see things, maybe a little futurism. It's not going to be clean and defined and fit perfectly into a genre because, frankly, I'm not that kind of clean and tidy person in my own mind. I'm what the kids apparently call a multi-hyphenate. But underneath all of it, I always want to know the same questions: how things work, why they work, and who do they work for. So everything we're going to talk about will fit somewhere into one of those three questions. So join me as I rebuild the professional adult in the most exennial way possible. Semi-polished and in public. Let's work together and figure it out.